All right, so we're going to go ahead and do this division by division. We'll start off with the NFC South. My division will go in over the nines, and then it just kind of flips back and forth from there. Starting off number one, we're going to look at Derek Carr. What you think of Derek? You've watched him for a long time, man.
I like Derek Carr. I'm still a fan of Derek Carr. Like I said before, I think the end of the season for him with the Raiders was more on I still think the coach set him up to fail. Like the more and more I see stuff, the more and more I truly believe that. So I still think he's a top tier quarterback, and I'm hoping he shows that this year. I hope he connects with the players, with the Saints, and he shows it.
So far, everything's been good. In most things that I've watched, a lot of people got Derek Carr outside the top 15. I think that's crazy to me. Where do you see him being on this list?
I'll tell you something, man. Most people will always have him out the top 15 because nobody wants to say that he's good because of how the career has been with the Raiders. Even though he's been some of the best bright parts of the entire career there.
Right.
But I still will put him in just right now. I would put him like in a BC tier.
That's what I was thinking too. He's not A. He's not top in the charts. He's not top 10. He's not goated, but I think he's in that middle B area for me. I think this is going to be a big year for him back with DA, with Pete Carmichael. Yeah. Hopefully they can make some offensive firepower in the Saints. Baker Mayfield. And I got Baker Mayfield here, but I'm going to go ahead and pull up Kyle Trask as well because both Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield, who are up for the starting position in Tampa Bay, are struggling from what I've heard. And
I've heard that too, actually.
And in saying that, it kind of feels like we're going to have our first just big dud on the board with possibly both of these guys.
I'm not going to put them in the basement. I'm not going to put them there. I'd probably, just for right now, until we decide something else, I'll put them in C.
In C. All right.
Well, since
we're in between, I'm going to throw him in D because I do not see him being a C quality quarterback. I just don't see it. And then the guy that he's battling for, the former Florida quarterback, just think we can throw him there. We haven't seen anything of him yet starting in the league, so there's nothing really to go based off of. But the fact that we've heard that Baker's been doing so bad, and then it's not like he's rising up and is like, oh, I want to be a starter in the NFL today. He's not doing those things, so I just don't think we give him a ranking today. To Desmond Ridder, the current starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. He played last year. They ran a super high, heavy run attack, now adding to it with Bijan Robinson, hoping that Bijan's catching ability is going to help take Desmond Ridder, not to another level, but just allow him to be more confident, get some easy passes.
I think, when it comes to Ridder and the Falcons, they're probably going to build up a really good run game with the pieces they picked up in the draft. I don't know about him. That's the thing. I don't know about him, with how solid he's going to be. I'm just right now, I put him right next. I'd probably put him on that D tier.
Right next to Baker.
Yeah.
Number 1 overall pick, Mr. Bryce Young. What do we think of Bryce Young, man?
I think he was good in college. But, I mean, just because you're good in college doesn't mean you translate to being that good in the pros. It's one of those situations where I think, like I keep telling you, I don't think quarterbacks coming out of college should be playing right away. I just don't think they should. I think that's how the easiest way to stunt a player's growth, especially a quarterback, because there's so much pressure on the quarterback, is throwing him into a high-pressure position, dealing with people that are older than him that got to listen to him now. It's different. It's just they haven't earned that respect yet. I don't know where to put him, though, to be honest.
So, when I'm thinking of Bryce Young, from what I've heard, I was tuning in to Dolph 17 and Coach Rock's show the other night where they had a guest in the Black Cat podcast, which are a bunch of Panthers fans, and the news coming from their camp is that Bryce Young is one of the smartest quarterbacks that they've ever had in their franchise, that he's picked up the playbook. They've already been able to expand on the playbook further than where they thought they'd be at this point because he just gets it. He's a good study. He understands what he's doing. His hardest thing is going to be his physical limitations, which is his height. But we've seen short quarterbacks make it happen before. I don't want to go and knock him. I don't want to go ahead and throw him up into a high thing, but I think right in the middle at C is where I'd put him, where it's I have good expectations for him. Not great, but again, we haven't seen anything, so we don't really know.
Well, expectations? Okay, I could go with C.
What you think of Jimmy G, man?
If they're going to run a West Coast offense, he'll be fine. Because that's 20 yards here, 15 yards there. That's a little dink and dunk. I don't think because he doesn't throw past 20 yards. He's done it less than 10 times in his career. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not a big fan of his, when he has played and started with the Niners, they have won.
He's won. You know, and that's exactly what I was about to say. Even though he might not be the most skilled or talented quarterback, he's a winner. Yeah. You know, with the West Coast offense thing, that's actually I didn't think about that at first, but you know, with Josh McDaniels, you know, they took that West Coast offense away from Derek Carr last year, and that's why we saw him struggle a lot more. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to revert back to it, knowing that that's what Jimmy G's specialty is, or are they going to still try to run Josh McDaniels' offense? Just because he wins, I can't put him any lower than C. I think skill-wise, I mean, and I try not to go based off of injuries, but I think skill-wise, you know, he's like high D, low C, but because he wins, I think it puts him at a higher C category. Winning means a lot, and what Jimmy does, and you know, great coaching in San Francisco, which has made a big, you know, has been a big reason for that. But he wins, and I can't take that away from him.
I agree with that. I agree. You can't. That's the only thing that kind of gives me some positive hope with him coming in with the Raiders. And then I know McDaniels they want him when they first came over there. So
this one's easy. We're gonna throw it up there, but we'll talk about it. Mr. Patrick Mahomes. What an incredible year for him. I mean, he just continues to blow everybody's mind whenever he steps onto that football field. I mean, you're talking about a guy that people were saying he would be struggle this past year because of losing Tyreek Hill, and he's like, nah, I can go ahead and turn any receiver into a great one. And that's what he did. That's qualities of quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, like Joe Montana, like Tom Brady, like Drew Brees, like Aaron Rodgers. These are the qualities of a superstar, and that's what Patrick Mahomes is.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think Patrick Mahomes is definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the league, especially now when, you know, Brady no longer being there, and it's no longer a question of him being there than everybody else. And it's actually you can actually have a discussion now and an argument about who's better, but. I mean, I think you put him in the right place.
These next two are very interesting because, you know, Justin Herbert's someone that we ranked really high last year. I still think he has potential to be a great quarterback, but he has that San Diego, now Los Angeles Chargers curse of not being able to win games.
But that's also a negative because of his coaching staff, too. Yeah, I think that's a big part of that. And, of course, they have injuries. They had a lot of injuries that last year. But I think the first time we did it last year, we had him in that top tier, I believe.
Yeah, we did. I believe so.
Just to see what he does this year, I would be okay with putting him in A tier.
That's kind of where I was at too. I think he's the first drop. I think, you know, he had a lot of hype last year, and we hyped it up as well. And we were, I wouldn't say wrong. We just weren't 100% right. He definitely dropped down a little bit. Hopefully, he takes that as, you know, a little bit of an edge where he needs to prove himself this year and do some big things.
They just couldn't finish. They couldn't finish games.
Into Russell Wilson with the new quarterback, Mr. Sean Payton. Do we think Russell Wilson, coach? I'm sorry, new coach Sean Payton. Do we think Russell Wilson is washed?
I think he's getting close to it.
You know, the way everyone was blaming Hackett, which, you know, the way Sean Payton especially came out of that was insane, just to be that rude towards like a colleague and stuff like that. But I also understand I also understand what Sean Payton was doing is because he knows and hears all the talk that's being said about Russell Wilson. He's trying to turn it around to try and be like, no, y'all don't understand. Hackett really wasn't doing his job, trying to take the blame off of Russell Wilson. But any educated or football watcher can understand a veteran like Russell Wilson should not have had that much offensive struggle for an entire year like he did. At some point in the season, if they would have just scored over 17 points, they would have only lost like 2 games.
Now, just from watching some of the games, we had to watch so many of them because there were so many on prime time. It wasn't like, oh, the game plan just wasn't working. No, that wasn't what it was. He was underthrowing wide open tight ends. He was overthrowing wide open running backs. He was choosing to run, then stopping at the last minute and trying to throw the ball and throwing picks. That's not the coach. That's bad decisions.
At what point do you say, screw the game plan? I'm going to go win this football game. I don't care if the play is designed to be a pass to here. If you throw a touchdown pass to a wide open receiver or you throw a pass downfield 25 yards and he gets caught, do you think your coach is going to yell and complain? And he knows that. He's a vet in this league. Yeah. There's a lot of silly mistakes that he made. And in saying that, it puts Russell lower than where I would ever have guessed that I'd be putting him at this point in his career.
You're going to put him in C?
I'm putting him in C.
Yeah.
I'm putting him in C. I think I'm putting him on top, but I'm putting him in C. Josh Allen. Josh Allen was the guy we had in the GOATed or the elite category last year. But we've started to see some flaws again from Josh Allen. Not huge ones, but enough to draw a little bit of concern. There has been some questions about him. People have even said as crazy as he's not even top 10 anymore, which I think that's outrageous. Yeah. No, where do we put Josh Allen? He had a tough year. He had a tough year, but they went, I think, 13-3 or 13-4, whatever it was. Record was good, but there was a lot of times where he left a lot of points on the board, especially in big time games.
I think when it comes to Allen, some of the losses directly sit on his shoulders because of some of his decisions that caused the issue. Like when we were watching the playoffs and the receiver was getting mad at him, even though they played off like, oh, he wasn't getting mad at him, he's mad at himself. There was some opportunities in the playoffs where Josh Allen could have became, he could have took that step and became the man for real.
Yes.
And been a top tier quarterback, but he just didn't make those connections. Right now, I can't put him in the elite/goated category. I have to put him in the A next to Herbert
and Rodgers.
I'm not as high on them as you are. So you got them set as like the team to beat in the AFC. I don't.
Aaron Rodgers seems happy. Like he's not going at the front office. He's not going at the head coach. He's not talking bad about wide receivers. He's now wanting to work with rookies all of a sudden. He's now cool being coached by whoever his coordinators are and stuff like that. He's not being this arrogant a-hole that he started to become in Green Bay. And they have guys like Garrett. They have a good little running back duo. They have some other wide receivers coming up. Their defense is solid, and that's why. I don't think that they're going to be the team to beat. Maybe I kind of played that off a little bit too much in my season predictions thing, but I think this is going to be a very good team by a quarterback that makes very minimal mistakes. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, I like Aaron Rodgers. I do. I think he's another quarterback that you can also even say he's not washed. He's not nowhere near that. But at the same time, there's things about him he needs to change to be a better quarterback. And I know it's crazy to think that from somebody who has as many MVPs as he does.
I mean, he's 2 years. 2 years removed from MVP. He was MVP in 2021-2022 season.
At the same time, I still have to go back and think about him losing to the Niners in the playoffs in the snow when they had never won that game. And like that was on him. The fact that we know that he doesn't want to coach young players. What we say right now, this is honeymoon. This ain't real. This is all representative. Yeah. This is not real.
Aaron Rodgers in today's NFL, it's hard not to put him in GOATed. Mm-hmm. But like I also could put him at high A, even though I think we'd get a lot of hate for anyone that sees this. But
that's fine.
At this point, I think he's high. I think he's high A. You're thinking lower than A?
No, I'm saying until he proves, and like next season when we do this, and he does really well, I'll give him that next level. But right now he's an A for me.
Next up, Tua back in action with Miami, coming off of 3 concussions last year. They maintained Tyreek Hill. I was really hoping they were going to go and grab one of the running backs that are on the market. What do you think of Tua going into this year?
I like Tua. I hope he can stay healthy. I hope that they can build a scheme around him to protect him better than what they did the past 2 seasons. Because I think one more real hit like that, it's the end of his career. Mm-hmm. There's no more after that. But until we get past that hump and he proves that he actually can play and be, in a tough environment, you can't put him higher than a C.
Off the top of my head, just because he did do some impressive things last year, he also did some things that we kind of expected of, like, like underthrowing Tyreek, which have him like high C or low B. I kind of want to throw him in the B just because the B is looking a little lonely. Derek Carr needs a friend. Hopefully he stays healthy. Mac Jones. You already know my opinion about Mac Jones, man. I don't think Mac Jones is an NFL quarterback. That's just my blatant opinion. Do I think he's bad? No. But I don't think he's good enough to be an NFL star quarterback. And when you look at the competition in this division, it looks even worse. And, I've heard some news coming out of camp that they said that he's looking really good. But I think that's Patriots and Robert Kraft blowing smoke up everybody's butt.
You're probably right. I agree with everything you said. I know there were moments where he looked pretty decent, but he always just looks decent. He never looks overly impressive. Couple downs where he looks really great, but that's
right.
About it. Yeah.
But in saying that, where do we put Mac Jones?
I don't want to be a jerk and say what's the point because he has played the D.
I think he's on top of the D. Yeah. Thank God we don't have Mozzie and everybody in here. They would have got me on that one. That was bad. He's so young. He has chances to elevate and stuff like that, but he's got to do it now. And Bill Belichick's going to keep him on a short leash. And the reason for it, Bill Belichick might be getting his walkout soon, too. Joe Burrow and Cincinnati Bengals. Burrow currently dealing with a calf strain. I hope he's okay. I think they said he should be ready for week 1, but he might miss a week or two, I think, at the worst. What do we think of Joe B in his first couple years in the league?
First couple of years, I think he performed really well, better than what people assumed he was going to do, especially with what he had to work with, and especially having a very porous offensive line for most of his existence in the league. It's weird because you see players actually make the playoffs, and they look good for the most part, but nobody has just looked super excellent besides like 2 or 3 quarterbacks. As much as I do like him, I have to put him. I will put him in the A tier.
I gave two of the B earlier, so I'll let you keep the A. Lamar Jackson. This is an interesting one. They finally got him some weapons. The rookie apparently has been going out of his mind. He's also getting to work alongside with OBJ, and Lamar looking to hopefully be healthy. What do we think about Lamar? It's been hard to get a gauge on him because when he's healthy and playing good, he looks like he looks like a top 5 in the league. And I wasn't ready to put him there last year when we did this, but after watching the games they did start, I was just like, man, I was like, this dude, he's special.
The injury time being away from the games did hurt him. I don't know, man. Like it's just like the Joey B thing. Like I wouldn't hate them being in the top S tier, the GOAT tier, the elite tier.
Yeah,
but just performance down the end, especially with him being injured.
So you said A, and I see A too. I see A as him fully healthy. I don't know. I really wanted to put him really high B, but I could see him as a low A player right now with potential of being a goated player, to be honest. We got Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett played phenomenal in his last, I believe, 4 or 5 games with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Coming into his second year. He, too, has some great wide receivers in both Pickens and DeJounte Johnson. What is your thoughts on Pickens? Because, man, I've had some people talking crazy about Pittsburgh. Like, they're up to win the division this year. Coming into his second year and not having a great first year, even though he had a good finish at the end, doesn't make me think that he's a top-tier quarterback or that he can be up there fighting with the big dogs. Like,
statistically, from what everybody's saying and what you read about the last 6 games of the season, yes, he did look good. But at the same time, Pittsburgh as a whole has not looked good. And I don't know if that has to do with the coaching or the group of players that are all together. But for me, if I'm going to put Pickett anywhere, I'm going to put him in a C tier. He got to earn those other 2 spots.
Deshaun Watson, we didn't even give him a ranking last year. But the games that he did play, I know he's not used to playing in the snow, but he looked bad. It looked like they shouldn't have started him. They should have kept with the guy you like, Brissett.
They should have stayed with Kobe Brissett. They probably would have made the playoffs.
I think so too.
Going off what we saw, just because of the overall talent, you can't put him in D.
No. I think he's, but I do have him low C after last year. I think he's so talented, but I just don't feel like he's in love with football anymore, and it just kind of shows. Because the thing is with snow games, like obviously I've never played in one. I live in Louisiana. I've seen snow like twice, But you have to love football to go out there and have a good game in the snow like that. You have to love it. Honest to God, last year, this is what he looked like to me. But he ain't that. He's somewhere in the middle of the pack of C, probably.
Put him in the middle of the C pack. Put him in the middle.
Yeah. Look at Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys.
There's some games he looks like he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And there's many games where he just like, you should have kept with the backup. Sometimes he just looks less than middle pack.
A lot of times he loses games because he loses them. And that's he has the opposite problem of what Jimmy Garoppolo has. Jimmy wins games that he probably shouldn't. Dak loses games that he shouldn't.
He shouldn't. He definitely
shouldn't lose. Like you said, when he's on, he's on. He looks like a top 10 quarterback every day of the week when he's on. But then he'll go on 2 to 3 weeks where people are wanting Cooper Rush back. Do we think Dak is better than Russell Wilson?
I do.
Then I think I want to put him in the B then. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl reigning contender, he was probably the best player in that Super Bowl. Like Patrick Mahomes played great, Kelsey played great. Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts played phenomenal. Mentality and character is he's used to being knocked down. We talked about it last year, getting benched after starting the whole time in Alabama for the national championship, going to the Sooners, coming over to Philly, having some hate after his first year. Man, there was people last year. You remember last year they had people saying that he shouldn't be starting.
Yeah, I remember.
and we shouldn't be like, starting.
He might go to the play. He might go to the Super Bowl. So what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. If we made any prediction right last year, that was the one. That was the one that we got.
He has shown a lot of maturity over time. You've seen him get better. You see it.
Yes.
So
you see it game by game. Realistically. Game by game, he's looked better. Confidence.
The game has definitely slowed down
great
for him.
Yes, it has. I want to put him in GOATed because I really want to put him in GOATed. The thing is, I think realistically he is A. I don't think he's a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. I think that's the one thing that's kind of getting me beside it. But I think your guys like Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. I'm not ready to put Herbert there because of his decrease but they're all kind of in the same boat for me as far as talent at quarterback. They still have people putting him in the top 10. Like in top 10, not top 5. I think he's the top 5 quarterback all day of the week. Every day. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a guy I liked a lot last year, showed a lot of grit. He extended a lot of plays, even though his line gave him no protection. They did re-sign Saquon, so that I'm sure Danny is so excited.
I like Daniel Jones, and I definitely think he just has pretty good upside.
He's a C. The C's getting a little crowded, and I think some of this might be needed for a little adjustment. We'll do some adjustments at the end, possibly. But he's a C. I don't think he's a B. I think he's a C. He extends plays. We'll see. He still hasn't had a number 1 wide receiver like in forever. Carson Wentz. Now he's a guy that I don't mind snuggling into that D situation over there next to Mackie Mac. What a year for Geno. What a freaking year. What's your thoughts on Geno Smith?
I like Geno, man. I like Geno, and I want to see him do well. I'm glad that the things finally kind of turned around for him, and now he's getting appreciated like he should have been appreciated.
Geno is one of those ones where I can't put him behind Russell Wilson because I think he played better than Russ, and I think he definitely played better than Russ. I think he's a B tier quarterback.
Right now, I would put him right there. I'll put him B.
Next up, we got the young kid. His name stands by him, Mr. Irrelevant, because when I was looking at these pictures, I'm like, who the hell is that guy? I was like, this dude looks like he's posing for a haircut image at a Supercuts. Like, is what I saw. This is no other than Brock Purdy. San Francisco 49ers. He got hurt in the playoff game against the Eagles. What do you think of Brock?
I think his first season was an anomaly, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be repeated.
San Francisco is plug and play.
Yeah. Big time plug and play.
They're all. It doesn't matter who's back there for the most part. You just plug them in and you run the same exact offense. You don't need to have a crazy throwing ability to be able to do the things that they do, the style of football that they play. Where can we put Brock?
That one, like I said, because of his anomaly season, it's hard to say, oh, he just deserves to go
Yeah,
C
way up
tier. You know
there.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, realistically, he's a D tier quarterback, maybe low C.
I mean, like I said, I would probably put him C.
See,
just for right now, because I think it's because is the Niners, and I think many quarterbacks will do well in that with that situation.
Matthew Stafford and the Rams coming off an injury. He got a Super Bowl. He got a Super Bowl, and he's some dirty clothes that's getting washed right now. And he needs to retire. He got his one. Get him out of here.
I definitely think that he probably should retire.
Probably should retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stafford. I'm kind
know,
of with Nate. I think I have him.
I
think I have him over Daniel Jones. You don't? You have him D?
He put what's the point? And I'm like, I kind of agree with that. What's the point? Because I don't see him being great anymore.
You know what? Actually, I agree. I don't think that he's worse than some of these players, but what's the point? Next up, Kyler Murray.
If this was a Call of Duty tournament, I put him.
Oh, he's A tier. He might be goated.
Put him A tier. But
man, are we putting him in D after last year and with no wide receiver help this year either? He's got to do it all on his own now.
But he's not even playing until what? Isn't he gonna be out for the first couple of weeks?
He might be.
Or is he fully healthy? I don't think he's supposed to be fully back until like what?
You might be right.
4 or 5,
I'm not 100% sure. You might be right. Tyler, A talent, D relievers, D health. That's where I see him. And it feels bad because he is talented, but D is really where I play baseball about him. I wonder. I bet he does. I bet he does.
Play baseball.
I bet he does. Jordan Love, Packers. I honestly haven't seen enough of Jordan Love to be able to give an honest opinion off of him. The only thing that I've been able to gather up is based off of what we've been told from people that join us during our streams that are Packers fans that have some trust in him and things like that. But he's kind of sat underneath Aaron Rodgers, and we all know Aaron Rodgers hasn't shown him anything, hasn't wanted to teach him anything. And I still again I don't know if he's 100% NFL ready. And with he has some good young wide receivers, but not elite. Where you want to?
I don't know if he's had enough experience to really be enough. You know what I'm saying? But like we said, there's been so much conversation about him and Kenny Pickett about them being this next evolution of quarterback. It's like, what do y'all see that we don't see? I don't see
where have you seen that? Someone sent me an article. That's crazy. We really have not even seen Jordan Love play, let alone something like that.
I don't want to put him at what's the point, but because we haven't really seen anything, I would rather put him at the D tier.
Yeah. Justin Fields is going to be a fantasy football god next year. I'm with Nate. I'm full on the ride on the wagon with Nate that he's going to be a fantasy must in like a mid-round quarterback pickup, right? Mm-hmm. But as far as NFL skill goes, he's been talking some big mess lately. I don't know if you saw. He said he's going to have He said he's going to have like a 4,000 yard throwing season. He said it's going to be this year. That's
really.
And apparently, I don't know if he's working with a QB coach or what, but he has. I have seen some clips, and he looks like he's throwing a lot better. He's now got a new set of wide receivers. Where do you put Justin Fields? Where do we
put him last year? Did we put him middle of tier or put him at C last year?
I think we put him at C last year. I think we put him at C, but I think we both wanted to kind of put him at D, but we put him at C because we were trying to be nice because he was young.
Yeah, I'm thinking C, but also thinking D at the same time.
I'm in the same boat. I mean, he showed that his mobility is elite. It's elite. It's not like him and Lamar's mobility are different. They're both elite in the same way, though. They're both elite running skill. His decision making is slow. It takes him a long time. I know they said if offensive line was rough last year, but there were moments where he had plenty of time, like I'm talking 5-6 seconds, and still threw interceptions. Now, could that be because he's just been hit so much and he gets nervous after a certain, certain
That's
seconds? He
definitely
has a little ticker in his head, like, oh, I'm gonna get hit soon. I need to get rid of it. I don't know. But I'm not impressed with his throwing ability. I'm not impressed with his ability to read the offense. Better than Kyler Murray. Is he better than Daniel Jones and Brock Purdy and like these group of cats here in the C? I think I want to give him a higher C. I think he has a lot of potential coming in this year, and that's just being honest.
I do think he has potential. I was curious to see what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it yet. Kirk Cousins, I think he's the most underrated quarterback in the NFL.
He is, but he's also a quarterback that just doesn't finish. We can put him in the B tier because statistically he's definitely there.
I have him B, and honestly, I think I have him B in front of Carr, just because he's done more than what Carr has done. Jared Goff from the Detroit Lions. Goff had a really good year, even though I think he's a very average to below average quarterback. What you think of?
It's weird. Okay, so last season, of course, I had parts of his team in my draft, and there was games where they looked amazing, where they looked like a top tier team, and then there's games where we're like, what happened? You just could have scored like 70 the last game, and this game you can't get 3 points. Like, what's going on right now? The potential that I thought he had when he first came into the league situation was with LA, when I thought he was pretty decent then. Don't know what happened with that.
I'm more like low C. I think they're just coached very well. I think Jared Goff could lose his job if they had a solid backup. Still the way that I picture him. It's still the way I picture him. You might be right about that. I do picture him in the C tier. Well, look at the players that we have on C tier. I don't feel like I can put him ahead of those players, so I'd have to put him at the bottom. Trevor Lawrence for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is Trevor Lawrence gonna work his way up there in the next year or two of being within that elite 5? I think it's possible.
I think it's possible. And just like what I talked about at the last time when I said I think he's going to have a good season, he actually had a pretty decent season. You know what I'm saying? And they brought over some nice additions for the coaching staff for him to actually be better, be successful. Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to have a pretty good season, to be honest with you. I think they're probably going to win that division.
So I think I have him high A. High B.
I was thinking B personally.
Ryan Tannehill, man, I feel like I insult every Titans fan. Rossi, I love you, man. I swear, we got to link up soon. If you end up seeing this, we got to link up soon. I know I talked to you in Twitter not that long ago. We'll link up. It's just, what's the point? Again, you know what you're gonna get. It ain't gonna be great. It's gonna be decent. It ain't gonna be horrible until they need him. It's gonna be horrible when they need him. It's gonna be okay when they don't. Whenever they can rely on the run. As soon as they need him, it's a fold situation. And hopefully, with the new acquired DeAndre Hopkins, he'll be able to make Tannehill look good. I mean, Hopkins has done it with other quarterbacks before. He made quarterbacks in Texans look really good for years when they were the worst in the division. He made Kyler Murray look pretty good when he was healthy, and they both were healthy together. But I'm just like, okay, what's the point? The Texans starting quarterback, which is going to be C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud's the guy that I thought should have went first overall. I think he's extremely talented. He's everything that you look in a quarterback. Tall. He's got a really strong arm. He can get mobile. Not exceptionally mobile like, some quarterbacks nowadays, but he can get mobile. He has all the aspects of what an athletic quarterback you'd want, and throws the ball pretty well. I mean, what do you think of C.J. Stroud? I mean, they're rookies, so it's hard to judge. But what do you think?
I mean, it's kind of hard to judge. I mean, the potential is there. I don't trust the Texans personally. It's not even that I don't trust the new coaching staff. I don't trust the ownership, and I think from all the things we've heard, and I think that are true how they throw games. I just would like to see them. I want to see him be successful, and I think that the coaching staff they have can help do that, but it won't happen this season.
Realistically, the point of talking about these two rookies is not to try and judge them or put them at a lower tier. It's just to have a conversation about what they can do in the league. Because I mean, realistically, yeah. I'm probably throwing both of these guys in the D tier right below Kyler Murray, because we don't know yet, because NFL and college is so different. But I think C.J. Stroud has a lot of potential. It kind of sucks that he went to the Texans. I mean, hopefully they'll do something. The next one was Anthony Richardson, which I went ahead and put there. He's the quarterback for the Colts. They have been very impressed by him, man. They've been saying that he is a freak, they said that they've just never seen a specimen like him. Like I think that's actually what they called him, was like a specimen. That he's just so big, so strong. Like, you know, we all know coming out of college, people were worried about some of his decision making, some of his ability to read the offense.
The Colts were smart. They would just let Gardner Minshew start the season and play the season out, and let Richardson learn the game. Don't force him into the season. That's what they should do. They're already not really trying to pay nobody. So don't let him go in there and get injured because the game's too fast for him. Let him learn behind a veteran quarterback that's actually pretty decent. He's not a bum. He's pretty decent. So yeah. But I mean, I do like him. I like the potential of him, and I think he has great upside, like we said about Stroud. But just we got to see how they look, though. That's really what it is. Got to see how they look.
Let him